Hey everyone, it's Amy, and I have in the Light Elegance Spring 2022 collection. So this brand new spring collection is called The Artist, and it is the spring of 2022. And we got the glitters and the colors. So let's go ahead and dive into them. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start with the color gels. And as you guys can already see, these are very, very toned down colors. So this first color we're gonna start out with is called Bare Canvas. And I don't know if this is new, but on the bottle it does say cream, color gel cream. And now I'm curious, I don't remember seeing that. No, look. Now I have to check the winter collection. It was not on the winter collection either. So that is a new addition to the packaging. Is that it says cream, and these ones are all cream. So I'm curious to see in future collections how that's gonna be. So here's what Bare Canvas looks like, and it is definitely on the yellow tone of a neutral. It's definitely more yellow than like a vanilla bean, but it is on that spectrum. Next we have Take It Easel. So here's what Take It Easel looks like. It is definitely on the nude side, but this is on the pink versus the other was on the yellow spectrum. So we got a nice soft pinky nude. This next one is called Stroke of Genius. So here's what Stroke of Genius looks like, and this is like an olive type of a color, but very, very, very toned down. It is not like your typical kind of almond green kind of an olive. It is like white or even like a neutral with a drop of that olive green in it. This next one is called All Pose for Leo. Here is what All Pose for Leo looks like. It is a super soft corally pink. This one's probably the brightest out of the ones I've shown you, but it's still definitely a pretty toned down color. This next one is called Pencils and Paintbrushes. Here's what Pencils and Paintbrushes looks like. It is a muddy type of a purple shade. It's definitely looking a little pink in camera. I think there in the pot you can see it's a little bit more in the purple. A super light muddy purple, which I've been wanting a color. I believe it's called Puddle Play by Light Elegance. I don't think this is an exact dupe for it, but that is a muddy purple that I've been eyeing for a while. I just haven't got my hands on it, so I'm excited to have this one. And the last one is called Do the Van Go-Go. And here's what Do the Van Go-Go looks like. This is the brightest color in this whole collection. It is actually the only bright color in the collection. It is a bright coral, and it's not super bright either. It's probably about a medium shade. It's definitely not a neon, but it's interesting how they did include one brighter shade. But I absolutely love the name, Do the Van Go-Go. I think that's so fun. So it definitely goes with the brightness and funness of the color. Okay, so here is our lineup of colors. And as you can see, those are all very toned down, very gray, very muddy, pastel type of shades. And of course we do have the coral, but even that coral with it, you could see how it's not super bright. It is not a neon, but it is interesting. I like that they included one bright shade because I prefer the brighter shades, but it is an interesting choice that they only chose to decide to pop one in. I do have quite a bit of comparisons before we move on to glitters, so let's get into those. So starting with Do the Van Gogh, which is our bright color. I pulled Counting Coral Sheep from Summer Collection and Let's Get Together from last year's Spring Collection. So I don't know if it's fully showing. Definitely the new one, Do the Van Gogh, is more toned down. These ones are more on the bright side. And then Counting Coral Sheep is definitely more in the pink versus Let's Get Together is definitely more on the actual coral side. And I feel like Ellie always comes out with a bright type of coral shade for either spring or for summer. So I feel like we didn't, even though they're not exactly the same, I feel like we didn't really need this type of a color, so I'm kind of like on it. Next for Stroke of Genius, which is our gray green shade, I pulled Khakis and Cameras from the fall collection. Khakis and Cameras is definitely darker, definitely more on the gray side, but you can see how they kind of have a similar vibe to them. As far as pencils and paintbrushes, I don't really have anything to compare as like a direct comparison, but I just wanted to show kind of our lineup of some purples that we have. This is Dream On from the last summer collection. Definitely more of a pinky, brighter purple. We have Lazy D Lavender from last year's spring collection. Definitely more of a brighter lavender. You can see how this one is quite muddy. And then I did want to pull a Soft Serve, which is, I love Soft Serve. This is a Light Lilac. And then, of course, you can see how that doesn't really compare at all. I did just think of one last one to compare. Come One, Come All, which was from a fall several years back. It actually doesn't compare that much. It is quite a bit darker than I remember it being, and definitely more on the gray side. This is definitely a muddy light purple. So nothing to really compare, but I just wanted to show you some of the lineups of the purples that I have. Next for All Pose for Leo, this was the lighter corally pink shade. I have What's in Your Basket from last year's spring. Is definitely a brighter version of it, but we got same kind of tone family. This one's What in Carnations, I believe from that same spring collection. Definitely more pink. Like these two definitely have similar color palettes. And then I did want to compare Dreamsicle, which was from a spring a few years back. This needs a good stir. I haven't used this in a while, but this is more of an off-white peach type of a shade, so it doesn't overly compare either. And then I didn't have anything to really compare to Take It Easel, although I might show it side by side with the Bare Canvas lineup I'm gonna do. So I pulled all of our kind of neutrals. I have Talk Dirt to Me, which is a hands down staple of mine. A lot lighter, a lot more neutral. We have Power Nap. See, this one's more on that pinky side, which I think might compare a little bit to Take It Easel. Which it does a little bit. Take It Easel is definitely lighter and less pink. And then I do have a lot of Gelato, again another favorite of mine, which is more closer to Talk Dirt to me. So this one is definitely newer. Bare Canvas and Take It Easel are definitely a good addition to my collection. So that is all of the comparisons that I have for the color gels. I did kind of go over this quickly. I don't like when my videos are too long, and the Ellie videos tend to get very long. So I'm trying to keep it short for comparisons. If there's anything else you guys want to see me compare, if I forgot a shade to compare to, let me know. If I get enough responses, I will do an Instagram story. So make sure you are following my Instagram at Amy's Nail Addiction. Okay, starting out with the glitters. This first one is called Nudie. Here is what Nudie looks like. It is a definitely nude glitter with silver reflects, and it is slightly on the pink side. This next one is called Creative Chaos. Here's what Creative Chaos looks like, and I feel like this is a pretty funky color, especially for this collection. It is a green jelly base with iridescent green chunkies in large and small sizes. Definitely dimensional, but very interesting choice, I think, for this collection. Next one is called Don't Frame Me In. Here's what Don't Frame Me In looks like, and this is a fun one. I gotta open this up so you can really see in it. It's got purple and green matte glitters. They're not quite matte though. They're almost like has like a metallic sheen to it. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's not like a full matte. And then there's iridescent glitters kind of throughout, and it's got a jelly base that has a slight tint to it. I can't tell exactly what color it is. It's so light, but this is a really fun one. Next we have Monet All Day. Here is what Monet All Day looks like. It is a gorgeous soft pink matte glitter and does have little teeny hints of silver in it, but this is a really pretty soft matte glitter. Next we have Wanna Watercolor. That is very hard to say. Here is what Wanna Watercolor looks like. It is a see-through iridescent pink glitter. And honestly, I feel like this is just a darker version of Losing My Impatience. So I'm definitely curious to see how those two compare. And the final glitter is My Masterpiece. Here's what My Masterpiece looks like. It is a pink, chunky, iridescent glitter. Definitely lots of chunkies in it. It's super fun, but I feel like we've seen a lot of similar glitters from Ellie. Okay, so here is our lineup of glitters. They are all definitely on the lighter, softer side as well. I do have some comparisons, not as many for the glitters, but let's get into what I have. So first off, Wanna Watercolor, which is gonna kill me by saying it, and Losing My Impatience. It is definitely a darker version of Losing My Impatience. Darker pink, it has a little bit more iridescent glitters in the mix itself. but I feel like because it's darker, you're not going to be able to pair it with as many colors. Losing my impatience, I will literally put on top of any shade. With this one being a little bit darker of a pink, that pink tone is going to come through a little bit more, and you're not necessarily going to be able to pair it on top of any color you want. Next, for nudie, I wanted to pull a couple of coconuts. I feel like they're going to be pretty similar. Nudie is like a little bit darker and a little bit more pinky. I don't know, I don't feel we all that much needed this one either. For Monet All Day, which was that matte light pink, I pulled Sweet Tea. And this one is more of a coral matte. So similar vibes, but definitely not super comparable. I did want to see what it looks like next to Sweet as Can Be. This one's like a fuzzy type of a glitter. And tone-wise, they're pretty similar. For my masterpiece, which is our pink chunky glitter, I pulled A Peony for Your Thoughts, as well as Waffle Cone. And if we look at all of these, the new one, my masterpiece, definitely has a lot more chunkies in it, and it is a little bit lighter. But I think I said this when this one came out, that I'm like, how many pink iridescent glitters do we need? So there's that. And then as far as Don't Frame Me In, I wanted to compare it to Say It Ain't Cilantro because I think they're kind of similar vibes. Say It Ain't Cilantro definitely has way more green, but they're similar vibes, you see? Although I think I do prefer the new one better because it has more of a mix. This is definitely very green prominent, so if you're not super into green, which this one, I mean, it is a pretty mix, but it's definitely a lot of green. This one's a lot softer because it has more of that purple in it. And then since I have Say It Ain't Cilantro out, I'll go ahead and compare it to Creative Chaos. This one is a very odd glitter to me. I don't really have anything to compare to it. Okay, so here is our lineup of colors and glitters. Okay, so here is our lineup of colors and glitters, and boy, do I have thoughts about this collection. Now, I do want to start off with when I unbox and swatch the spring collections. I think with the exception of last year's spring collection, I hands down loved right out of the box, and I think that is still my favorite spring collection so far. All the other spring collections, anytime I open them, swatch them, I never looked forward to the spring collection. I was never excited about most of the colors. It was always like meh. I had meh feelings about it. But then the spring collections, some of the shades from the spring collections end up being some of my top most used products of the year. So I do want to preference it with that. That, you know, I don't always love the spring collections, but I ended up using the spring collections a lot. Now, as far as the color collection, is it my favorite? No, it's not my favorite. They are toned down, muddy pastel shades, which is not my vibe. However, because they are toned down, and they're not super pastel either, they're not like that off-white type of a color. They do have color to them. they're gonna be great background and staple colors. I use a lot of the lighter shades. That's why Talk Dirt to me and a lot of Gelato, the lighter nudes, become more of my staple colors because they are lighter and more neutral, and because these are toned down, I feel like that almost neutralizes the color. You still get that color, but you have more opportunities to play it up and to put designs on top of it. I feel like sometimes the brighter, the bolder, the darker colors can really stand out on their own, but I always reach for more of a neutral or toned down color to pair with it to put nail art on top of. So I definitely think, even though these are not my favorite colors at all, I definitely think I'm going to get a lot of use out of these colors, and I am excited to play around with them and try new things with them. So hands down, highly recommend the color collection. Glitter collection, on the other hand, not a fan of. Not a fan of at all. I don't know. I can't pinpoint exactly what it is. I don't know if because these glitters are kind of toned down as well, but we just have some very odd choices in my opinion, and you guys can let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if these are the greatest glitters on earth. I'm okay with that, but I'm not having it with these glitters. Yeah, I just feel like nothing special, even though they are like unique glitters, like this green one, what is it? Creative Chaos. It's just such an odd glitter though. Green, jelly-based, green iridescent glitter. It's like, how often are you really gonna reach for a green iridescent glitter? You know? The only issues I have with our two pink iridescent glitters is that we've seen similar stuff from them before. That's my only issues. I don't hate on the colors. I don't hate on the pink iridescent. You can definitely do a lot with that, but it's not the first time we've seen stuff like that. I think the only glitter that I really like is Monet All Day, which is that more of a matte finish. I actually think pairing it with, what was this one? Take It Easel. So Take It Easel paired with Monet All Day. Like do a full set of this one and then a couple accents of this one, or even do a gradient with this one, would be a stunning, like, everyday set. I feel like it would also be a stunning wedding type of a color, if you didn't want to do like a classic like French tip. This would be a gorgeous, subtle but beautiful like wedding color, I think, for a set, even though it's not my cup of tea. The chances of seeing me wear an all pinky pastel set of nails are very rare. Low chances of that, but I do think it's a stunning choice. And then this nude glitter, nudity, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of nude glitters. If I want like a nude glitter, I'll go for a gold or a champagne. I don't like the actual like nude glitters. Like a couple of coconuts. When do I ever use this? Never. I'd rather go for an iridescent or a champagne or a gold, or even a silver, you know? And again, that is just my preference. I'm sure there's lots of people out there who they would much prefer more of a subtle glitter like this, which I get. And I do like Don't Frame Me In. I think this is a really fun mix. Oops. I do like that mix. It's a really nice springy mix. It just that we had seen something similar again, so So hands down, recommend the color collection. Glitter collection, I'm not convinced that I'm gonna use most of these. If you guys have ideas of how to use these, you know, maybe challenge me in the comments, tell me which glitter to use, and I will take the challenge and I will do it. But I also challenge you, would you wear any of these glitters? Are you super excited about any of these? Let me know what your favorite color gel is. Let me know what your favorite glitter, if you have any. Let me know what you're picking up. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy me doing my Light Elegance swatch videos. I love these quarterly collections. I think they're a lot of fun, even though the glitter's disappointed me this time, but you can't always like everything, so it's okay. Make sure you subscribe to see what tutorials I come out with, trying to use some of these colors and glitters. And thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.